am so happy you are here. Today I have a guest with me, Dr. Samir Islam, and we are talking about the digestive system. He completed his undergrad studies at University of Texas in Austin, and he graduated with honors. He also completed both his medical degree as an MD and his master's of business, his MBA at Texas Tech. So he's definitely not an underachiever. And he also respectfully has completed his internal medicine training at Texas Tech University as well, and completed his fellowship as a gastroenterologist at Mayo Clinic in Arizona. For his career, he's balanced a love for working with patients and an obsession with cutting-edge scientific development that are changing the way we see digestive health and medicine as a whole. I'm excited for him to join us on the podcast today. We just had a fun conversation and touched on some points that I think that you are really going to benefit from hearing. So let's dive in. All right, Samir, thank you so much for joining me on the Happy Whole You podcast.
Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yes. Okay, the first question I have for you, it's a pretty big one, so be ready. What is the difference that you want to make in this world?
Well, I think that, I really feel like that medicine is broken right now. I really do. And I feel like that a lot of people are just frustrated with the way healthcare is. But more importantly, I think they're not getting the answers that they want. You can see this with a lot of things that are occurring with social media and the movement we're having in medicine. And so I'm really frustrated, as I'm sure most of my patients are, with the delivery of healthcare. It's not good, it's not sustainable, and they're not getting the answers that they want to have.
What do you find that your patients are coming in with that you're able to help them and navigate them towards wholeness and healing that maybe they're not finding with other doctors? Like, what are you doing differently?
Well, I think a lot of doctors, unfortunately, are putting a band-aid on the problem. They're not finding out the root cause. Like, why are you coming in for heartburn, nausea, diarrhea? Like, what is going on? Instead of just throwing pills after pills after pills, let's get down to the root cause, because if we can find the root cause, we can fix it then, as opposed to just guessing and just hoping. I think that's the problem with healthcare right now, is that a lot of physicians are just maybe throwing, and for a number of different reasons, time constraints and who knows whatnot. But if you don't find out the root cause, you just can't fix the problem. You're just putting a band-aid on the actual issue that's going on.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think time, and I mean, I come from the complete opposite spectrum of Western medicine. I'm 100% Eastern and holistic healthcare, but I do love it when I come across doctors like yourself that are like, let's get to the root. Let's not just put band-aids over things. And, the body is so complex, but yet it's so simple at the same time. And I think sometimes we make things complicated. One thing that I notice with clients, and so I'm wondering if you see this, when I have clients that come in and they're having a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress, that 99.999% of the time, they are having digestive issues.
Yes.
Do you find that?
Yes, that 100%. And people are shocked by this. They're like, I don't know why my gut's acting a fool when I'm stressed or I'm in an environment, and the opposite as well. They don't realize that their brain is driving a lot of their gut symptoms, or their gut symptoms are causing a lot of anxiety to occur. Yes, you're preaching to the choir here. You're exactly right.
So in those situations, like, what are some of your approaches? Like when someone comes in, maybe they don't have ulcers yet, right? Like they're coming in and they're starting to realize like something's not right inside of me. And you're noticing, okay, there's this level of anxiousness, there's this level of stress. Like, what are some things that you recommend to those patients to start doing so they don't go down that rabbit hole of all the testing and just surgeries and the things that sometimes there's not a whole lot coming back from that?
Well, I think number one is awareness. I don't know if you've experienced this in your practice, but sometimes people are just not aware of that connection. So one of the first things I tell them is that, did you know that your stress is driving your gut issues? Like, really? I had no idea. It's like, yeah, it kind of is. And then once we develop that awareness, that recognition, then we can maybe start to try to do things that actually do help based on actual research, whether it's things like meditation, yoga, mindful practicing, exercise, going for a walk, nature. These are things that are simple, that work. But I tell my patients, they're free. You don't have to pay anything for them, and they pay off dividends down the road. And so if you can start off with this, do these things, optimize sleep, do the things that are non-invasive, non-surgical, most of my patients are shocked by how much better they feel without me prescribing a single medicine.
Yes. And I'm sure you get also the patients that come in that like that's what they want. Like they want the pill, they want the prescription. So in those situations, I'm guessing that can be tricky because on one hand, you can totally write the prescription. On the other hand, there's these other things that they could do. Like how do you help bridge that patient to see that there could be another way without them just kind of blowing it off and being like, I just want the medicine.
Yeah, so one of my big things, I really want to make sure patients understand what's going on, but also give them autonomy and a choice. It is their body, it's their life, and they know kind of what the consequences are for everything. So what I try and do is I give them both approaches. I will tell you, listen, you have this issue. There are two different ways we can approach it. We have the medical treatment, which we can give you, and that's not a problem. We'll go over the risk and the side effects and things like that. And we also have the non-medical treatment that can work as well, that has virtually no side effects. It may take a little more effort on your part and more time, but it does work. And so I give them the options. And as long as they're having an informed discussion on both, they understand what the risks are and the benefits are for both, then I'm happy to help them out and help them with their issues. But I'll tell you, most of my patients will pick the natural option. They don't want meds. They don't want to be on meds lifelong. They don't want to have to take a pill every single day. I don't know if you've experienced this yourself, but for me, when I give them the choice, it's an easy choice for them. They will take the non-medical approach to get them feeling better.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think COVID actually woke a lot of people up to being curious. Could there be another way, more options for natural health and all of that? I think that was, I look at what blessings COVID brought in because I saw a big difference in how many people I was seeing and the things that they were coming in and wanting through that series that we all went through.
Yeah, I
Okay.
think you're right. Absolutely right. I think there's a lot of mistrust that happened during COVID, and a lot of people got disillusioned with medicine, and I can understand why that happened. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so if you well, I want to ask you a question. So what do you think about like probiotics? What's your
Yeah,
stance on probiotics?
I'm a big fan. So, but what I tell patients, and here's what I tell them, and I have to be honest with them too, is that probiotics is not going to be the solution to your problems if you're not doing everything else. So I give them the analogy, it's like having a sundae with a cherry on top. Probiotics can be it can be the cherry on top, but it's not going to be the sundae. You cannot probiotic your way to health. So you can take a probiotic, but if you're eating bad, you're sleeping bad, you're stressed out, you're not managing the things that need to be managed, there's no amount of probiotics that you're going to give that's going to fix that. It's a help, but it cannot be a solution by itself.
Yeah, no, it's so good. I always tell like when I have clients, we talk about how the body will always follow the mind. And
Yes.
the body is constantly giving us these clues, these signals, this little bit of reflux that you're feeling, the bloating in the stomach, the anxiousness you're feeling. Like these are messages that your body is sending that something is not going and like something's not right inside, but sometimes it's not even what's right inside, it's what's not right up here as well. Um, so I do have a question for you. Are you seeing more like people that come into you? Are you seeing more IBS, more reflux, inflammation? Like what are some patterns that you're seeing and what are the symptoms that your clients are bringing or your patients are bringing to you?
Can I just say all the above? I mean, literally, it is all the above. I have seen more bloating, reflux, inflammation, brain fog, diarrhea, constipation. But what's also scary is that I've seen a lot of actual cancers now in younger individuals, which I was
Yeah.
not seeing early in my career. So not only are we seeing a lot of the change in the gut microbiome and the manifestations of that, we're actually seeing physical ailments of cancers developing in younger individuals. And I truly believe it's all delved down into one main source, which is, how we eat, how we address our food, and how we manage things like stress, sleep, and important items like that. I think that's really the commonality between everything that I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you, what do you think is causing that? But yeah, I could definitely agree. I love Louise Hay's work because I always, with how I work with clients, I always go back to the emotion and the mental aspect. And one of the things with like the colon and our bowel movements are all about getting rid of mental waste. So when
Yes.
we hold on to that mental waste, we're going to hold on to things in our digestive system, in our colon, and that can cause, all of these things that we're talking about. So with colon cancer on the rise, my husband, he just got his first colonoscopy. I am waiting to do mine. I've actually called the doctor's office like 3 times. I'm a cash patient and I'm like, why aren't you calling me back? Like, this is,
Yeah, I know, that's crazy.
anyways, whatever. It'll come when it's supposed to. But what are some symptoms that people may be experiencing that you're like, hey, it's time for you to like get a colonoscopy. It's time for you to get checked out. These are some subtle things that could be coming up, and these are some big things that could be coming up for you.
Well, I think you hit the nail in the coffin, is that your body is telling you when you have symptoms that something is up. I mean, it's simple as that. It should not hurt to eat. You should not get bloating when you eat. It should not hurt to poop. You should not having reflux when you have, things to eat. So these are like subtle signs your body's telling you, hey, something is up. And so when someone comes to me with symptoms, I tell them, hey, that is your body telling you that you need to get checked out. And so I have a pretty low threshold because that's what I do to make sure everything is doing okay, because I can see exactly what's going on. But the scary thing about colon cancer, besides having the typical symptoms, change in bowel habits, maybe some bleeding, weight loss, is that it can occur without any symptoms. And that's the scary thing, is that I've diagnosed individuals who are young, who maybe had the occasional bloating and had something bad, and individuals who got their routine colonoscopy done, asymptomatic, no family history, had full-blown colon cancer. In fact, this happened last week. No symptoms whatsoever, came in for a routine procedure, and ended up having cancer. It's so scary now.
Yeah. So when you have a client or a patient, I keep saying clients because that's what I call them, clients. When you have a patient that comes in and just like last week, can you walk us through like how do you tell a patient that this is happening? And um like how do you approach it? Because I get clients that come here that have been told all sorts of stuff and like it's like traumatic for them, and they're told you only have this long, you only have this, and da 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 da. So I'm curious, like, how do you approach that with them, because it's such a sensitive subject, and there's been research that shows that if you get your prognosis that and you believe that prognosis, most likely you'll follow that. But then there's also some people that if they are not listening to the prognosis, they're like, I do not believe this. And I've met plenty of people that have healed themselves from all different types of cancers. So that conversation is so fragile and important. How do you
Yes.
approach that with a patient?
Yeah, and I think you're 100% right on that. The conversation is incredibly important. And I know that I'm going to be the first one to have the conversation because I just diagnosed them. So
Mm.
what I do is that, I take it to a separate room. I sit down and I put I touch them. I really do. Hold their hand. I just make some sort of physical contact because that's healing in of itself. And I'm
Yeah.
pretty upfront. I say, listen, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I have to tell you this. You have colon cancer. And I know the minute I say that their whole life changes. They're not really listening to me. And I understand that. So I try to get the big points through. Number one, you have cancer. Here's what we're going to do next. We're going to figure out exactly how to beat it. We're going to figure out what stage it's at. I will send you to the best people to take care of you, and I will be with you the whole way. And that's kind of my approach. Now, patients ask me questions about, how long they have, the stage, questions that are very important. But I purposely don't try to give them a number because I know that you're exactly right. Sometimes people stick in that number and they're just that's what it is. Like, oh my goodness, that's it, or they just ignore it. And I don't know. Frankly, everyone's different, and these numbers are based on stats that, it's everyone's so different. So I try not to do that, but I obviously tell them what they have. And I also tell them, ways that we can treat or beat this cancer. And, whether it is just removing that cancer out and you're good, whether maybe medication ahead of time, I always stress the importance of having a good, strong mental capability or have that fortitude to feel like you can overcome this challenge. Because I tell them this challenge mentally can help you overcome so many different things. And having that optimism is critical when it comes to cancer care.
Yeah. Wow. I love that. I love that you do that because I mean, that's so powerful. Okay. We're talking about a very sensitive subject here. What if, this is my dream, by the way, what if medical doctors didn't say to patients, you have depression, you have cancer, you have all these things? What if we approached it with your body is experiencing?
That's interesting. I haven't thought about that.
I mean, I do what I do now because of some diagnosis I received when I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
And those labels were like me. Like I was attached to those labels that I was given of
Yeah.
what I quote unquote had.
Yeah.
And as I've worked on healing myself over the years, I really have come back to this. My body is experiencing because our body's experiencing the reflux because of something else. Our body is experiencing these things. So just, I always like when I see my clients, I say that to them. I'm like, what if you didn't have and repeat to them whatever they've been told they have? And they kind of look at me like funny, like, what? I'm like, what if it was just something your body was experiencing? And it's almost like this weight kind of lifts off of them, but there's a little
Yeah.
confusion going on because they've identified with it so much. And then if we go back to how the body will follow the mind, I'm just, I just think that would be a cool experiment to do is really to approach it with your body's experiencing. And now let's game plan so your body can experience something completely different.
That is really interesting. I have not thought about that, but that makes a lot of sense because you're right. The labels matter. I mean, they do. They matter in everything. Whether you're a father, whether you're a good father, whether you were a good son, a good child, whether you're a bad child, whether you are somebody who is overactive, you start to identify with that. That becomes who you are, and then you
Yeah.
just kind of manifest your life like that. But in terms of that is a very interesting experiment, and I have not thought about that. And I am curious. I'm gonna start doing this tomorrow. Honestly, I may just yeah. I really just talk to my patients. You are experiencing IBS, but you're not IBS.
Yeah.
You are experiencing heartburn, but you're not heartburn. That is fascinating. I didn't even
Yeah.
think about that.
I know it helped me a lot, right? And so I know it's subjective, but but again, it's not only helped me, it's actually helped my clients. And when we just take that attachment away from those labels, it just provides more space for healing. And I do always share, like, if we go inside every cell till we can't go any further in the body, the only thing that's left is energy. It's what's called a quantum atom.
Mhm.
So to not address the energetics of the human body, I believe we miss a whole aspect of healing because we're only addressing the physical and biochemical. But the energetics of the body come through thought,
Yeah.
come through words we speak because they carry vibrational frequencies that have been studied. I mean, you can see, different songs and different words that can be frozen. If you do you know Dr. Emoto's work?
No, I don't
He's
know.
scientist. Okay. So this is like so amazing. So what he would do is you could have a glass of water and you could speak to that glass of water. You could tell it love, love, love. Then this water freezes and you look at it under a microscope and it freezes in this beautiful crystal formation, almost like a
Oh
snowflake.
wow. Oh
And you
wow.
can see the colors radiating off of it.
Mhm.
This other glass of water, you speak to it. You can just say, you're evil, you're evil, you're evil. Freeze that, look at it under a microscope. It looks like a dark hole.
Wow.
So every word we speak, every thought we have carries a vibrational frequency that impacts water. Well, our bodies are 70% water, right? It
Yeah.
impacts cellular function. So, I mean, you could take cancer and look at it under a microscope and it'll freeze water in a certain formation. It's just,
Wow.
I don't know. To me, it's just, I think about these things because obviously what we're doing isn't necessarily working. And there's a deeper something at play here. And we're the soul having this human experience in this human body. And we have to play with it. It's our instrument. So I don't know. So this is how my mind works. I think about all of these things.
No, that's fascinating. I haven't heard that, but I can see exactly where that's coming from because you're right. How your mental capabilities and your mental struggles and your mental fortitude does play a role in your physical health. I mean, all the time it does.
Yeah.
And I can understand exactly how that power can be.
Yeah. And I mean, we know like placebo works like what, like almost
Oh, yes.
30% of the time. So
Yes,
that's
it's so common.
subjective. That's our
Yes,
thought.
you're right.
So,
It is.
I mean, so even if, if it works 30%, I'll take a 30% gain on something negative any day of the
Yes.
week.
I am with you on that. Absolutely. Give me that placebo. I'm all for that.
Yes. Okay, so how do you take care of your digestive system? How do you take care of your health?
So good question. So I do a couple of things. So number one, I have a couple of pillars that I stand by. So I optimize my sleep. I know for me, if my sleep is bad, everything else just falls down. So I optimize my sleep. So I go to bed at the same time. I dark, no phones, cool lights. I try to optimize my sleep as much as I can. I exercise every day. Like for me, exercise, there's so many benefits with it. It makes me feel better. It keeps my weight down, gives me energy. So I exercise every single day. And I aim for zone two cardio at least 30 minutes every single day. I've not missed a day in years. So I do that. Number three, I lift weights because lifting weights is building the exoskeleton for your body. Because one of the more common triggers for patients to be debilitated is falling. If you fall and you break something, it's a bad road down there. And so I make sure I do that. Number three, I do have some sort of meditative practice to keep me mentally sharp, but also, keep me mentally sane from everything that's going on in the world in my own life. So it's meditation, it's silence, journaling, reading these things work. And then lastly, for me, community, big thing. So that community for me is my family. I spend all my time with my family, my wife and my kids and my close friends. I don't go to parties. I don't do anything else social. For me, having that community of family that I can trust and live by helps me out. And so we make sure we spend quality time. I put it in my calendar. I do it every single day. Every Saturday we have a family night in which we have all of our family. Ends up being like 13 of us. We've been doing this for at least 10 years now. We all get together and we all have home cooked food. We've been doing it every year for almost, 10 to 15 years now. So these are like my five pillars that I do. And for me, it keeps me going and keeps me, feeling good.
Yeah, I love that. It's so good to have routine. Okay, one question I have for you. You mentioned falling because that's a big thing. Do you do lateral movement in your workouts?
I do.
Okay, good.
Absolutely, I do. Yes. Because I know that if I maintain that, it's going to prevent me from having that risk of falling. So yes, I'm doing what I can to make sure I don't fall on myself.
I love it. I have to remind myself to like do lateral movements. So even if I'm like going for a power walk or going hiking, all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, and then I'll start like side shuffling and
Yep.
start moving because we're so used to just going in a straight line.
Yes.
But
Yes.
yeah.
Growing up in Texas, you play football. You get used to playing football, and so we've done lateral movements like all throughout practice. So I have that ingrained in my training.
Yes. Oh no, that's good. That's really good. We need that. Absolutely. Okay, what other tips do you have for say we have someone listening, they're like, I'm pretty healthy, I'm doing good. What are the things that you're in terms of like foods and things they're putting in that you want them to be like, okay, top of mind, you're going to get something to eat. What should they be looking for when they're eating?
So fiber, fiber, fiber. Fiber is the foundation for everything. It really is. Without our bodies are made to have fiber. Our bodies are made to have, fiber to build that foundation, improve the gut microbiome, and help out. So out of everything you can do, focus on fiber. So I try to make the vast majority of my plate fiber, whether it's vegetables, whether it's probiotics, prebiotic type foods. These things are the vast majority of my plate. And if you do that, not only are you feeding the good guys, helping your gut microbiome, but you're actually going to be feeling fuller longer and more often. So you don't eat as much and gain weight and have problems that can come from obesity. So fiber, 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 fiber.
I love it. One thing that I have clients do quite often when they come in, instead of changing their diet completely, because I just know over 20 years of working with people that nobody wants to be told what to do, number one,
Yes.
until they get really desperate.
Yes.
But they don't want you to overhaul their eating. So
Correct.
I use what I call the add-in method. So with a lot of clients, there's 3 foods that I'll have them add in. It's medicine.
Hmm.
1 organic celery stick a day, 1 organic apple a day, and then 4 to 5 blackberries a day.
Hmm.
And usually they'll do it most days out of the week, like 5 days out of the week. And once they add that in, their bowel movements, they start having
Yeah.
like regular movements and, like because most people aren't even getting enough fiber. So if people do nothing else, I always say add those 3 foods in for the next 30 days. And then we'll start talking about their food sensitivities and other changes to make. But it's like all about adding in because people are not getting the fruits and the vegetables. I can't believe how many people, because I'll ask them, how often do you eat fruit? Oh, like once or twice a week. How
That's
often do you eat
crazy.
vegetables? I really don't eat vegetables. And I'm like, what did vegetables ever do to you? Like, why are you mad at them? So it's interesting to have those conversations because, like, for people like myself, like you, and other people in this industry of health, often it's common sense to us, it's normal to us. But the reality is, it's not very normal for a lot of other people. And so, just having those conversations, I feel like helps remind them and bring them back to, I don't know, high school health class where it's like, hello, fruits and vegetables, and the pyramid has changed, thank God.
Yeah.
But yeah, fruits and
I
vegetables.
love the idea of adding in. I love that because I think too many people just try to eliminate everything and people just get disillusioned and they don't like it. So
Yeah,
I think abundance and adding in, that's such a great idea. I love that idea of yours.
yeah, yeah. It's the best. I feel like adding in or completely fasting because it's like
Mhm.
less decision.
Yes, you're
You
right.
know what I mean? Like, I don't want to think about counting calories. I don't want to
Yeah.
think about all of that stuff. So it's like I can fast or I just add these things in. Like, I know I have my 30 grams of protein in the
Yeah.
morning with my fiber and like, yeah, it's just I need simple in my life because I
Yes.
already got enough craziness going on. So
Yes, I think people really, I think you're exactly right. And I think having things simple and easy makes a huge difference. So I have pretty much eaten the same meal. I'm trying to think now, almost for the past 9 months. Maybe once a week I'll kind of splurge, but I didn't realize the the benefit of just simplicity. And I'm not even thinking about it. Like I love it.
yeah. Yeah, it's so, I mean, it is freeing. It's one less thing you have to worry about or think about.
Correct.
I have a gal, she's a local chef and she makes me 3 to 4 lunches every week. She drops them off Monday nights at my office. She puts them in our fridge in the back. So usually I'm working 4 days a week. And so I don't even have to think about it. I know I'm going to have at least 30 grams of protein. I'm going to have at least 10 to 15 grams of fiber in each meal that she makes me. And I just like go back to the fridge and I'm like, all right, this is good. It's like one meal. So if you can do even just one meal or have someone help you that, I mean, I know what to eat. I know all that, but like also then there's like the time I'm not preparing it. So I had to
Yes.
outsource that. So I think that's important too, is there's no shame in your game when you outsource someone else who that's like their jam. Like that's her jam. She loves making meals. She loves cooking for people. She loves that. So
That's
anyways,
great.
okay.
That's smart. So smart. I love it.
Well, because I can literally find myself not eating all day. I don't know about you, but like seeing clients and
Mhm.
I mean, all of a sudden I'm like, wait. And I mean, as a female, I don't believe fasting is like super great for females to do
Mhm.
all the time. And especially not more than like 14, 60 hours or 14 to 16 hours. But sometimes I find myself, I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't ate. And so like having that, regular check-in is good for my blood sugar, all the things.
Mhm.
Okay, what am I not asking you that I should be asking you? Is there anything that you want to share?
No, I think we hit the vast majority of it. I think people really underestimate some of these things that are very important, when it's mental health, what you eat, your sleep, your stress. Uh, I, I think a lot of people don't realize how big of an impact it really has until you actually let them know. So I'm so glad we were able to talk about that because by fixing that, most of my patients get so much better without me having to prescribe anything. I love that.
Yeah, that's great. Well, where can people find you? Where can they connect with you so they can keep this digestive conversation going?
Obviously, well, we have our YouTube channel, drsamiraslam.com. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. And if you want to come visit us, we are seeing patients. LubbockGastro.com is our website. So feel free to go on there. But if you want more information from me, just search on the socials for my name, Dr. Samir Islam, and hopefully you get some good information on there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me on.